Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Allianz Joy today. I am by myself today. I do not have a guest. I'm going to talk about chronic pain issues and would like to share some information with you about healing chronic pain and how we can understand it, what we can do with it. My name is Eliane. I am the owner of Better Body Basics and Better Life Basics. I'm a physical coach and instructor and group X instructor for a long time already, for decades. I work with people on pain, physical pain, and I am also an executive coach. That means that I work with people on their emotional pain, trauma, etc. So things that we're holding on to. And how come these two are so related? I'm going to talk a little bit about that because that is my favorite thing to do, to recognize the somatic effects, the things that we're holding, the pain that we're holding in our body that sometimes have to do with something that we hold on to that is related to trauma or to pain in our lives. I love to do what I do. I am grateful that you are here today or you're listening to the replay. You might be on Roku, Apple, Amazon. You might be on a podcast listening on Spotify. I'm glad to see you here at Allianz Joy. And let's get this started. First, let's start a little bit with what I have done in the past, a little presentation on chronic pain issues. And some of these chronic pain issues, what were the most important one? Well, the number one thing that our society really deals with when it comes to chronic pain is back pain, correct? So a whopping 80% of adults have experienced back pain at least once. 50% of working Americans have more than one flare-up a year. And back pain is is the number one reason that people really miss work. So it can impact your lower back, right? Now in the lumbar region, the middle of your back, in the thoracic region, and due to classes, for instance, group X classes like yoga and stretching, flexibility, chair exercise. I work with my students, with my clients a lot on these issues. So there's a lot to do for that back pain. That's a little bit for another episode to just really show you what you can do physically for that. But I wanted to point that out as a number one point, or one of the points that are most popular when it comes to chronic pain issues. The second one, going up a little bit, of course, is common. It's neck pain. And neck pain is a complaint of official workers as well. Definitely people that are hunched over related to that back pain as well, right? Because that is a huge disease we call back pain now, the smoking of our new era, right? It is not good for you to sit all day. So sitting is the new smoking. It's not good for you. And so is back pain and neck pain existing a lot in people that sit a lot and they're hunched over their computers or their telephones, their screens. That happens a lot. We just tighten up. It has a lot to do with posture correction, but we keep a lot of the stress in our neck. And that again, goes to headaches and tenderness and shoulders, just painful things, tingling arms, things that we might recognize. And I'll go a little bit here in a minute. This is a little bit going over everything, how we can recognize that and how we can talk to it and maybe heal it a little bit, not just by exercise, but also healing by recognizing what it is, where we feel it, and how it gets there. The third one is a headache. Approximately 8 to 10 US adults in our country experience tension headaches. Those are stress headaches and physical shoulder, back again, tension headaches. And the symptoms strike daily for at least 3% of them. It's a large number of people holding on to pain in our neck and headaches, getting headaches, holding on to stress, and not really addressing it in a physical manner. So we have a lot of migraine attacks and a lot of migraine symptoms. And the next one is arthritis, right? We feel that, of course, when our bodies, I'm one of them, when our bodies are getting older, we start to deal with osteoarthritis or arthritis in itself. More than 54 million adults have arthritis. It's not necessarily something that we can prevent, because if we work our bodies hard, if we do a lot of physical activity, then yes, they start to wear out at some point, right? It's a painful condition if you have to live with it. Your joints become swollen, you can become tender, you might experience stiffness, burning pain that gets worse with sometimes activity. So a lot of things that we can do for that pain. And how do we locate it? We're going to go today a little bit into that. How can we find a natural way of addressing these pains, and how can we find them? That's difficult, or that's not difficult, but it's something that I would like to address today. And number 5 that I want to talk about is nerve damage. Of course, many people talk to me about having sciatic pain. It's there again if we sit a lot, if we have to do a lot of office work, right? If we drive a lot, if we're driving UPS trucks around, that can be causing some nerve damage, and that nerve damage is also related again to posture, to sitting too much, and just to bend over the wrong way. Sometimes way we walk, sometimes the way we move, that can all cause some nerve damage. It even has to do with, for instance, always utilizing one side of your body and not both, right? So we get into that nerve damage. How can we address all these things in a friendly manner and kind of being aware of what we can really find out about our chronic pain? One of the people that I studied with and studied intensively is the book The Body Keeps Score from Bessel van der Kolk. And that also, Bessel describes how we are keeping trauma and things that happen to us in our lives. Sometimes we hold on to that pain in our body, right? The trauma is sometimes related to physical pain, and we hold on to that. We manifest some of the physical pain. I talk about that a lot in my shows, in our body. The trauma affects the structure and the function of the brain, and in particular in areas like the amygdala and the hippocampus, right? And the frontal cortex, I can't talk, and that holds on right there, right? It stores right there in these areas. And then what happens if we are having a traumatic experience, if we are having a life-changing experience, that can lead to somewhat of a dissociation, where the brain disconnects from the present moment to cope with the overwhelming stress, and resulting in fragmented and disjointed memories. These memories might store. It's like a big filing cabinet where we store them and sometimes push them to the side because we don't want to make time to deal with them. We just can't do it right now. I just can't go there right now. I'm stepping over it. What happens in that somatic memory, the body holds these memories as well. Memories of trauma store also in your body and not just in your mind. So that is called also sometimes somatic memory or body memory, where we just still remember without being really consciously aware. We remember where these physical sensations and reactions are linked to past events. And our body just kind of like memorizes that, just like it does when you don't work out for a while, but you have that somatic, that physical memory, memory there, and you can kind of like remember, oh yeah, this is what we did before, I can do that again, right? We can recollect that a little bit easier. Then you also have, of course, that full physical manifestation of trauma in a sense of chronic pain and illness. And some of the things, again, I want to talk about today. So I'm going a little bit over it, what happens, that our body definitely in some ways has chronic pain because we store some pain there, we store some trauma, some happenings, some big life events there without really being aware of it. So those are gastrointestinal issues, right? Headaches sometimes, that arthritis, that lower back, the neck pain, the headaches, those things are coming up and keep coming. Sometimes without medical explanation, they're just there. It's hard to fight that sometimes. And then also, of course, we have sometimes problems with that emotion regulation, right? We can even get really stressed out. We can feel a lot of tension. We can feel anxiety, and so forth. So all that has to do with what our body holds on to, and what we can do for it has a lot to do with things like yoga, of course, movement, right? Always. I always say that's the number one thing that I would address when it comes to your chronic pain. Let's go stretch out a little bit, loosening it up, open the body up for our fluids to flow, right? That's always very important, that we don't hold these obstructions in our body. So we have these importance of physical treatment like yoga. We can have therapy, we can have EMDR for it, some somatic experiencing. And meditation is very important, and sometimes some neurofeedback. Meditation and awareness is very, very important. And that integration of what we're thinking, describing it, and being able to address those somatic issues is what I want to give you a few tips about today. So how can we find a couple of ways to address these physical pain points? How can we find that chronic pain in our body? Many times we just ignore it, or what I always hope you won't do, and what I advise you to not do, is first call the doctor. I always go to a couple of other ways, right? Try meditation, try that yoga, gentle exercise, that flexibility, that functional training. Try that first and see if you can find where that chronic pain constantly displays itself to you, right? And comes up. And what can we do with meditation? What can we do with a massage, or with another alternative to just calling the doctor and taking a pain pill? Sometimes we can do some journaling for it. Journaling is found to be very important. Why is journaling so important? Because what it does is that if we write down, we find the emotional, we find the words for it. We connect with the symptoms in our body. We connect with the issues in our tissues, as we say that in our little physical fit world, fit family. And we address those issues in our tissues by finding words for it. And journaling really, really helps. So for getting more in tune with your body, let me give you a few ideas. The information or the affirmation that you can give yourself and you write down for yourself is, I listen to my body and I respect the signs it sends me. So if you write that down and you repeat that a few times in the morning to yourself, it becomes an affirmation, right? I listen to my body and I respect the signs it gives me. And if you are feeling that and you start to describe, then that can be also a journaling prompt. So you can describe what you're feeling, right? Do you feeling a little bit confused about it? Do you feel that it is something that you can't really address? Do you feel that it makes you scream in pain? Does it make you feel very aware? Does it make you feel conscious? Does it make you feel in pain, right? And angry sometimes even. So if you write those emotions down, you're coming a little bit closer to describing what's really going on. And that is very difficult, very difficult, important for us, but very difficult to do sometimes, because we don't ask ourselves, and we are not asked a lot to describe everything that we're feeling. And we're just using somewhat general words, right? I'm angry, or I'm numb, but what other emotion words can you give that, right? Another good affirmation is, I breathe light into my pain. I do that a lot with meditation and pain management. Breathing and meditating and trying to find where you can locate the part in your body that is not comfortable. Where do you feel that you're holding something that might hurt you, that is painful, that is feeling uncomfortable? Maybe you can't really put your leg in a certain way, or you can't really sit nicely onto your two sit bones, right? Or maybe you feel kind of hunched, or maybe your back is just not comfortable when you do so. And breathing light and healing into your pain area is very important, because then again, you're connecting with it. We want to find where it is. So you close your eyes, you take a couple of really deep breaths, and then with each inhale, you imagine sending warm, healing light to the pain areas where you're experiencing that discomfort. And then write down how you feel afterwards. Again, use words and write down how you feel afterwards. Another prompt here is I treat my body with kindness and compassion. It's a great affirmation and it's a great journaling prompt. Both ways, again, we can use that to write down and describe our feelings, emotions that come with what we're feeling. We're always, we tend to go to the negative side and be just angry at our body and say, I don't like the fact that I'm feeling this pain today. And I don't like the fact that I'm getting older and my body is falling apart, right? These things are definitely not positive affirmations, my friends. We want to say, I'll treat my body with kindness and compassion. I know my body. I know what I feel. I'm going to find out where I feel it. So you really describe the way the way that you treat your body, describe it with kindness and with compassion. Describe it that, yes, I've used you so many times. So I did so much exercise on the right side or so much movement with the left side of my body. I understand you. I understand that you are telling me something there. So what would your body tell you? It's very important to understand that and to have a loving kindness relationship with that self. Another one that I really like is my pain does not result in suffering. That could be a great affirmation. My pain does not result in suffering. It does not always lead to the oh my God awareness, the oh, I'm falling apart. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to end up at the doctor's office. I need to take medication. Sometimes we have pain that we can heal ourselves. And that's why I'm so adamant about that exercise, that movement, slow movement, Tai Chi, a little bit of yoga, a little bit of chair exercise, movement, functional fitness, the things that you can do for yourself to break through and start recognizing what it is exactly. Start getting in tune with your body. I don't think we do that enough. And I am a big, what should I say, fan of, one of my quotes, right? Meditation is my medication, right? We want to find it first and go there. We want to create a relationship with our body so that we can again describe what is inevitable. The pain is inevitable, but we can describe that suffering is optional, that we do not have to have this all the time, and that there's several things that we can do for it, right? We just want to soothe into it, and we have to have that body dialogue. We have to create that dialogue. So if you are seeing those affirmations, maybe it's something that you can use and that you would like to write down for yourself. So let me repeat them here, right? We're going to go, what did I start with? We're going to go say to ourselves, I listen to my body and I respect the signs it sends me. That's a great affirmation to write down and to tell yourself a few times a day and start describing the feelings. The second one is I breathe healing and light into my pain. That could be a great affirmation. The third one would be I treat my body with kindness and compassion, right? We definitely want to do that and not get too mad at it. And the last one that I mentioned, why my pain does not result in suffering. My pain is not definitely resulting in suffering. So those 4 affirmations might relate to you and might do something for you, or maybe 1 or 2, and start writing them down and start writing down what you feel and where you feel it. And then as last today, I want to give you a little meditation idea where you can just really sit comfortable and apply some of these affirmations, some of this dialogue with yourself. You want to find a quiet and comfortable space, always to go into that meditation mode. You want to kind of get out of the world and get into your own safe space and find a very comfortable meditation posture. Sometimes I sit, sometimes I lie down if that's comfortable. And I just really want to, for sitting down, most people don't like that, right? So especially in my meditation classes and sessions, I know that people do not like to sit up all the way crisscross. Sometimes it's just not possible. Your back won't allow you to. And sometimes your legs are not comfortable crossed. So just put them straight out in front of you Sit a little higher. Sometimes putting a big pillow underneath your bum helps a little bit to sit a little bit higher. And then lean against the couch or against the backside of the couch or a chair or the wall. Just lean against something so that you can sit in that position a little bit more in a supported way, right? And sometimes we just like to do that in a chair. We can be very relaxed in a wonderful chair that you feel comfortable in. So start mentally speaking and start a dialogue with your body. Bring all your awareness to the centers where you are really intuitive. Of course, that would be those chakras, right? Those centers, those wheels in your body where a lot of emotion finds place. So that might be your throat, your chest and heart, your upper belly, or your womb space, your lower belly. These chakra areas are very sensitive, and start dialogue and start talking to it. Start breathing into these areas to where you bring them alive and start creating that awareness. At this point, it might be still comfortable. It might just be a very wonderful feeling. Just by really slowly breathing. Start breathing in through your nose, bring it all the way to the back of your head and down the spine to those really creative areas and those chakras, those energy areas. And if you do so, you might feel some sensation. You might feel that your body is talking back. It becomes kind of like a treasure hunt, right? Now you're going to feel a little bit into the areas, maybe into your limbs, maybe into your extremities and your joints, where you might feel sensation that is uncomfortable. Where do I feel obstruction? Where do I feel discomfort? And you're just not trying to really uh, give it an emotion, right? You just want to feel first. You want to, I always say in a meditation, you want to find and you want to feel. You want to find and feel. And then later on, you go to describe and heal, right? So we're going to find and feel where it's just uncomfortable. We're going to breathe to it and speak to that sensation, just healing words. I want you to, relax and say to yourself, it's going to go away. I feel that when I'm going to breathe through it, the pain becomes easier, becomes more bearable, becomes lighter. It will go away. So you're just taking a really important step there, talking to your pain areas, removing from your body. Sometimes we just have to describe the sensation. Then we're going to go to the describe and heal part, right? Now, what do you feel? Again, does it feel really heavy? Does it feel sticky? Is it sharp pain? Is it tense? Is it a muscle? Is it a joint? Is it dark? Is it suffocating? Right? Is it very shallow pain? We want to describe it with words and try to be a little bit illustrative with your words. We want to find words again that are different than just I'm angry about it, or I'm numb about it, or I feel pain. I feel pain. Well, what kind of pain? Right? You want to describe it a little bit. And once you probably describe that feeling, then you can move into these emotions, these feelings, and try to turn them around. So it starts feeling lighter. It starts to feel agreeable with me. It starts to feel easier. It starts to become I said lightly, it's light, right? I said it starts to evaporate, right? Give it some emotion that are positive words. Give it some positive affirmations instead of the anger that you were holding towards this pain. So start to ask yourself questions. Finally, I want to start round it up with that. Ask yourself questions in a sense of, right? Kind and inquisitive questions for yourself. Was it always there? Is it feeling heavy? Is it anxious? Is it making me anxious? What does it do to me? So here, I'm going to the last bit of what we were talking about today, is that we want to have that dialogue constantly with ourselves. So we want to use these affirmations. We want to use these body scans. We want to use our breath and meditation to find out what's going on with our body, having a dialogue with it and trying to describe it. So we're going to ask these questions. What does this injury want from me? Is it going to be there forever? No, we already said it's not going to be forever, right? The symptoms do not have to be forever. What does it need from me? Do I need to be more gentle with myself? Do I need to stop running at this moment? Do I need to stop carrying really heavy bags over one shoulder? Is there anything that I can do to eliminate this? Because what is it telling me? And what does it need? What is the pain telling me? And what does the pain need? What is it trying? Is it trying to help you or protect you? Again, if I have really heavy backpacks all the time, am I leaning too far forwards? Is it telling me to find a different way to carry heavy groceries or heavy things around, or books, right? Or study materials. So do I need to do that a little different? What is my body again telling me? What would happen if I no longer had that pain? Right? I can run again, or maybe I can go into that marathon or on that bike, or maybe you don't do that anymore. In my case, that would be asking for a repeat, right? So, but what can I do? What can I do if that lightens up a little bit? Maybe I get better sleep. Maybe I don't have to turn around 10 times at night. Maybe I just feel way more restful. Maybe I can do that yoga class without pain. What would it need for you to understand that you can try to heal and find and describe the pain? What is your body telling you? So I hope today that I gave you some ways to find out how you can deal with your own pain, how you can find out and describe what it is, and maybe even understand that it might be related to something that you're holding on mentally and emotionally, or is it just related to something that you overdid and you did physically too much? Let's find out before we call the doctor. My name is Eliane, here on Win-Win Women TV, a wonderful interactive platform. We are all over, international. Please ask questions. Find me on YouTube and find the replay on YouTube as well. And on my social media, my name is Eliane Haan, and my website is elianehaan.net. If you have questions, reach out. And if you want a complimentary session to talk about your chronic pain, or to talk about the trauma that you're holding on to and it might manifest in your body, please call me, because I'm an expert at that stuff. elianehaan.net. I'll see you. I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching today. It was wonderful to be here with you. Thank you so much. Bye and enjoy your day.